on, because we have a special feature that we're doing every single day, and that is we are interviewing a different candidate every single day, all across the country, different races, House, Senate races, you name it. And I want to introduce you to somebody. All the strategy roomers know who this person is, Pat Toomey. And he's a former Pennsylvania congressman. He's a Republican, and he is running against Arlen Specter. So, Pat Toomey, thanks a lot for calling in. We sure appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Now, at one point last year, you were 21 points ahead of the polls, ahead of Arlen Specter in the polls, causing him, many would say, to flip from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party. So how are things going there for you so far this year?
Well, things are going extremely well. I've been thrilled by the support that I've got all across the Commonwealth. The energy and enthusiasm is all on our side. Meanwhile, Senator Specter has a very tough Democratic primary. He's going to try to get through. I don't know if he manages. But in any case, I feel great about where we are. We've got a lot of support. The funding is very strong. I'll be the Republican nominee, and I think we're going to win this race.
I'm just looking at some of the poll numbers so far, and you're polling ahead of Joe Sustak, who's the Democrat who's challenging Arlen Specter right now. So things seem to be going pretty well for you. What are some of the issues that you are finding voters in Pennsylvania care the most about right now?
Yeah, well, actually the polling data currently has me ahead of either of these guys, and I know there's a long way to go, so I don't put too much stock in it, but it's indicative of the voters' attitudes towards what's happening in Washington. I mean, to your question, I think people think we've got a federal government that's out of control and focusing on the wrong things. The idea that we should have serial bailouts, nationalizing whole industries, spending on a breathtaking level, unprecedented and unsustainable deficits and debt, and meanwhile, by the way, they're going to take over health care. I mean, this is just out of control, and this is what happens when a single party, the Democratic Party, is captured by its left wing, and they're off to the races. So voters across Pennsylvania of all stripes want a little balance, a little common sense, some fiscal discipline.
I read, excuse me, I'm sorry.
It's going very well for those reasons.
I read somewhere that even the pro-labor policies that the administration has put forward have been really rejected in your state, which is surprising given the makeup of the state. How do you account for that?
Well, you know, because the average rank-and-file union workers understand that it's just un-American to deny people a secret ballot. And let's face it, that's what the card check bill that both Arlen Specter and Joe Sustak have supported, that's what it would do. It's designed to deny workers a secret ballot.
What about your, can you give us like an example of a specific jobs creation proposal that you're running on?
Sure. One of the things I've argued is that we're going to destroy jobs if we keep spending at the way we're spending. So instead of all of this staggering spending, for instance, on the stimulus bill, a big portion of that is still unspent. So I've argued we should rescind the unspent portion and instead lower payroll taxes. If we lowered taxes across the board, payroll taxes on workers and the matching employer share, we'd give every worker a take-home pay raise, and we'd make it less expensive for employers to hire the next worker.
What about your feeling on the VAT tax?
I think it's a very bad idea to create a whole new category of taxes. One of the problems with the VAT tax, of course, is it's the least transparent. I mean, it's completely hidden. It obscures the tax burden that consumers have to pay because obviously the consumer ends up paying the whole thing. But it's hidden from people, and I find hidden taxes to be particularly offensive.
Okay. What's the date of your primary in Pennsylvania?
Our primary is May 18th.
May 18th. Okay, so you sound like you're in the car right now. Where are you headed right now?
I am in a car on my way to Harrisburg, our state capital.
All right. And how are you, when you talk to voters out there, if they were to rank the issues that they're passionate about, you had mentioned just a minute ago government spending, but where does that stand compared to health care reform?
Well, I think jobs is number one.
Okay.
Getting this economy moving and creating job growth. You know, Pennsylvania's unemployment rate is way too high, and I'm worried it might even go higher. So that's got to be priority number one. Healthcare reform is high, but not the kind of healthcare reform that the Democrats have been trying to inflict on us. This huge takeover, the $1 trillion spending, all kinds of mandates, taxes. That's not what we need, and the voters I talk to want to see some of the modest common sense reforms we can enact to make health care more affordable and more accessible. But I will say security is another issue that comes up quite frequently, especially in the wake of the Christmas Day attempt to bomb an American commercial airline flight.
All right, Pat, thanks a lot for calling in. Pat Toomey, a former Pennsylvania congressman who is running on the Republican ticket against Arlen Specter. Of course, we all remember very well that Arlen Specter switched parties last year from Republican. Now he's a Democrat, and a lot of folks say that certainly looked like he was going to lose, and that's why he switched parties. So thanks a lot for calling in this week.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, well, and